So good morning, everyone. Namaste. This is Bon Air Christian Church Yoga with Linda. I'm Linda. It's nice to have you join me today. I'm feeling a little vulnerable, which is interesting because our theme for today is vulnerability. And we've been trying to get this recorded this morning and without any luck. So this is our second or third try. Anyway, thanks to Gina for making this happen today. So you'll need maybe a blanket to sit on, your yoga mat. If you're in a bed, you can do the first half of this practice in your bed. You might want to have some blocks, but none of that is necessary. So the idea of the vulnerability theme came in twofold this week. One was from the activity happening at the Olympics and the young women gymnast, particularly Simone Biles, who felt very vulnerable and was having some emotional trauma, perhaps, due to pressures. And I thought, gosh, that's such an important topic. Maybe I want to think about that and incorporate that in the practice. And then Sunday, Sarah Reese was doing the sermon at church. If you were not in attendance and have not yet seen it on YouTube, I would encourage you to do so. It was a very powerful sermon about depression, among other things, but that was the key focus. And I walked away thinking, yes, we all are vulnerable in so many ways and at different times. And maybe that's a good thing to talk about and to feel our way through. So in yoga, vulnerability finds its pathway through the spine. And that is where we are most vulnerable in terms of movement. So everything happens through the spine. So when you're drinking your cup of coffee, that your spine is giving you stability. When you're moving, twisting, all of that is spine. And sometimes we don't even give that consideration. In fact, most of the time we don't. And the nerves that run from your brain all the way down your body, obviously, they go through the spine. So that is key and central to your well-being, emotionally, physically, mentally as well. What you're feeling, what you're thinking, everything we perceive through touch, smell, and our senses, all of our senses. So as you find a comfortable seat, I just want you to take a moment to consider the curves of your spine. Consider how tall you can sit. This is a slow and gentle yoga class today. And if you just want to sit and watch, you can do that, or remain in one particular pose. You may do that as well. And I will be stating verses, and these verses are used as a center for contemplation as we consider our vulnerability. So to begin our practice, let's bring our palms together at the center of the heart. We will inhale together to chant one round of Om, which is the universal sound of spirit. Inhaling to chant, big breath in. Bringing the palms down to the knees, eyes closed, maybe a gentle gaze in front. Following your own breath in and out through the nose. On your next breath, lean to one side or the other. If you were on a blanket, remove your blanket. Find your way down to your low back, or to your back, sorry. Stretch out one leg and then the other. Stretch your arms overhead. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Then bring your arms down by your side. Allow your feet to flop. And with eyes opened or closed, find awareness at this moment. Where is your body touching the mat? So the back of the head, the shoulders, the back of the arms, the elbows, the wrists, the back of the hand, maybe the wrist if your hands are facing palm down. Maybe some of your thoracic back, so your back may be touching the mat. The low back is probably lifted, and so your hips and your glutes are touching the mat. Perhaps the back of the thigh, the calf, and the heels. So finding total relaxation with your breath here. Move your awareness to your spine. So the cervical spine begins in the middle of the skull, and this is in the middle of your body. So think of it as internally the middle of your body, the line that draws you from the top of your head to your feet. So moving your awareness once again to the middle of the skull, the top of the cervical spine, all the way down through your tailbone. And what does that look like? So the spine is made up of 25 vertebrae, 7 in the cervical spine, 12 in the thoracic spine. In the lower lumbar, we have 5 in our lumbar spine. The lumbar, the last L5, sits on top of the sacrum. And the sacrum is 5 fused bones. And it's shaped like a triangle. And then the last 4 bones are the coccyx, and those are fused. And by the time you're 30, they are fused. So you're born with them separate, and then they fuse. And just lying here, you know, because you can feel that the spine is not a straight line, but it does have curves. And these curves allow you full range of motion. And I want you to see if you can bring your awareness to the center of the spine and to visualize the bundles of nerves that go from the top of the cervical spine all the way down through the spinal column. And in yoga, the spine is where we find vulnerability. And physically, for us humans, the spine is also extremely vulnerable, particularly in the lumbar spine, because that is where the vertebrae are the largest, but also where the greatest amount of work is done. So take a few deep belly breaths here. Fill your belly, let it rise. As you exhale, let it fall. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release. Bend first your right knee and then your left knee. And you may choose to roll on either your right side or your left side, depending on where you are. So if you need to push into your heels to shift your hips over one way and maybe even your shoulders, go ahead and do that. And then I want you to find your way to your side and to a fetal position. So using one arm, so you can lay your head on your arm. Bring your knees to where it's most comfortable to you. So I like to bring mine up a little bit. The natural curve of the spine is this C curve. This is what you look like when you were in your mother's womb. Maybe your left hand drops down over your hip. You might want to put it in front of you, wherever you find stability.
Close your eyes here and visualize the shape of the spine. So today we're staying close to the earth, particularly in the beginning of the practice. And we're focusing in yoga on the Muladhara Chakra, which is the chakra where we find our stability. So this is the chakra of survival, self-sufficiency, security, and safety. So if you can close your eyes and think back to when you were a young child and what it was, what events, what people maybe you were with, where you felt most secure. And memory is also stored here, even though this is a channel for energy in the tradition of yoga. This is our first and called base channel of energy. So bring your hand in front of you, place it on the mat, push into the mat,
and slowly work your way up to seated. And find yourself a comfortable seat. So this time I would like for you to put your right leg in front of your left leg, if that's available to you. Again, if you want to sit on a blanket, find your blanket and place your blanket underneath to whatever height or level you would like. So I don't need one at the moment. So here, sitting nice and tall, breathing in and out through the nose. So find some grounding here. We're grounding through the base of the spine. We're sitting on our sit bones, nice and tall. The base of the spine reaching for the earth, the crown of the head reaching for the heavens. Maybe drawing that belly button towards the spine. Shoulders are back and down away from the ears. So Sukhasana, which is easy seat, translation of, or easy pose, comfortable pose, cannot feel so comfortable sometimes. So sometimes even this demands a lot of you. And your spine at this moment is doing an incredible amount of work just to keep you upright and straight and tall. Let's just breathe in and out through the nose. Enjoying the work that our spine is doing for us. Finding some groundedness here. If at any time you need to move your position as we do the next exercises, you can change legs and come back to the right leg in front. So now I'd like you to bring your fingertips back towards your trapezius muscles. So the muscles of the neck, you can just take your fingers if you like and put them to either sides of your neck and bring around towards the back. Give yourself a little massage. And it feels so good. You might find that there's tightness there. So allow both elbows with your fingertips still on that trapezius muscle. Allow both elbows just to drop down. And we're going to work them one at a time by inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. This time you might add your head moving in the opposite direction. Inhale up and turn. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale up and turn. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale up and turn. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, center. From here, we're going to take our fingertips and place them on our shoulders. And we're going to bring our elbows to kiss. Now, maybe your elbows don't touch. Maybe they just come to here, but maybe you can make them touch. And if you can, do that. If you're here, that's okay too. So our fingertips are on our shoulders. Elbows out to the side. We're still sitting nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, up, over and back. Inhale, bring those elbows in towards kissing. Exhale, up and back. Inhale. Exhale, bring them around. Last one, inhale. Exhale, around and back. And bring them to touch once more. And palms come down to the knees. Maybe you want to lift your shoulders one at a time or do a couple of circles, front and then back. So while seated, we're going to do a couple rounds of seated cat-cow. So we inhale, we puff the chest up and look up to the sky. And as we exhale, we round and contract, pushing out towards the back of the wall. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to center, we're going to do a circular cat-cow. So we inhale, moving forward. We will slowly exhale as we find our way to the back. And inhale, moving forward again. So we'll do 3 circles one way and 3 another way. And while here, think about when you feel vulnerable. What makes you feel vulnerable? Maybe just doing this exercise makes you feel vulnerable. It's all okay. Let's just give it some thought. So inhale forward. And as we begin to circle to the right, we exhale all the way to the back. Begin inhaling as you come forward. Exhale, moving back. Go your own pace. Exhaling, moving back. Inhaling, moving forward. We're going to reverse here over to the other side. Exhale as you move towards the back. Inhale, moving forward. Exhale, moving towards the back of the spine. Inhale. Last one. Coming back to center, drop the shoulders back away from the ears. Take a moment to feel that activity, that sensation. Where do you feel the energy flowing? Does anything hurt? Did it make you feel vulnerable? So with right leg in front of you, the left leg will stay where it is. The left sole of the foot is going to still remain placed against the thigh. If you're very bendy, you can move things in closer and take your leg out wider, but it's not really necessary. So first we're going to do a lateral side bend. And there's some scripture to consider while we go into this pose. And this is scripture that Sarah read in her sermon. The Lord the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be discouraged. And then I added from Joshua 1, verse 9, you are never alone. You are never alone. So from here, with your right hand, take your right hand and place it on your left leg, the bent leg. And we're going to take our left hand and we're going to go up the back of the ear, straight up. And then inhale and exhale. Begin just a slight lateral bend. So you're not trying to move towards your foot, you're just going sideways. Take a few breaths in and out through the nose. And now as you inhale, look down at your right leg. And exhale, look up towards your arm. Inhale. Looking down towards your right leg, nose pointing towards your knee. Exhale. Nose pointing towards your elbow crease. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. From here, allow your left elbow to begin to bend and come down toward your left side, and you will automatically right yourself. So you don't really need any muscular work there. Your arm in that actual slow movement will lift you up. So let's just take a moment here and feel that sensation. You are never alone. So from here, inhale, center, slowly twist so your center, your heart center, and your core over to the right to face your leg. We're going to take both hands and bring them up next to our ears, lifting as we inhale. As we exhale, slowly lower down over that right leg. So, and you may end up landing here. This is not a deep stretch. You might be here. If you have blocks, you might even say, oh, I just need this. Maybe you need this. So whatever you need in this position, that's what you want to achieve. So we're just going to breathe in and out through the nose, giving ourselves just this little stretch to the side. And everyone feels it in a different place. 2 more breaths here, in and out through the nose, keeping the foot flexed on the right leg. Inhale, center. As you exhale, cat paw your way back up to a tall seat. You can give yourself a little leg massage. It feels so good. Bring your hands behind you. And let's bring both feet to the floor, maybe touching knees together to give our back a little bit of release. If it feels better for you, you can windshield wipe one way and then the other. So let's do the other side. So coming back to a tall seat this time, our left leg is bent in and our right leg is bent in and our left leg is stretched out. Be sure to bend that right knee and place that sole of your foot wherever it's convenient or comfortable for you. So there's a little bit of tension, but there is no pain. So when there's pain, you've gone too far. So just sit for a moment and see what this feels like for you. And I will read another scripture for you to contemplate as we are here. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So maybe you know someone whose vulnerability has taken them down a path where they are crushed in spirit, where they are unable to move forward. And Psalm 139, 13 and 14 says, "You are known by God." So you're never alone. And your trouble, your vulnerability, you are known by God. And there is comfort there. So moving to the other side, we're going to take our left hand and place it on our right thigh. So find where it's comfortable for you. Right arm's coming up behind the ear. Fingers are going scooting by that ear, straight up on the inhale. Exhale, we're going over towards the side. This doesn't have to be a huge movement. A few breaths here, in and out through the nose, finding strength, getting strong. And on your next inhale, begin looking towards your left knee. And on the exhale, draw your nose so that it begins to reach up towards the crease in your elbow. Inhale down. Exhale. Inhale. Follow your own breath here. And you might have a tendency to lean forward, maybe catch yourself. And correct it. Last inhale up. Exhale. Looking back down towards our knee. Here we're going to look at our knee, begin bending that right elbow and bring it down by your side. You will automatically come to a tall seat. Take a moment here. You are known by God. You are never alone. Inhale, center. As you exhale, we're going to look over, so using our heart and our core towards our left leg. Inhale, both arms come up behind the ears, straight up. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward and find whatever position you would like to rest in. Lower the head and drop the jaw. Relax the neck, the shoulders. Maybe you need a block. Keep that left foot flexed to protect the knee. Creating strength and stability in the spine through these gentle, slow movements. And wherever you are in your heart and in your thoughts, you are not alone and you are known by God. Inhale deeply through the nose, and as you exhale, slowly cat-paw your way up your left leg to a tall seat. And stay here for just a moment. Bring both hands behind you. Bring both feet to the floor in front of you. Again, we're going to take just a nice little rest here. Maybe knees come together. Maybe you want to windshield wipe one way and then the other. It all feels good to me. So coming back to your seat, we're going to do just a folded butterfly. So finding your tall seat. If you need to be on a blanket, get on the blanket. Sometimes that is really helpful, especially if your hip flexors are really tight. So sit nice and tall. Inhale, center. As you exhale, you might want to grab with your thumbs. Grab the soles of your feet. You can even rub your feet as you slowly allow yourself to just cascade over. If this is too difficult for your legs, it's also possible to place blocks underneath so that there's not so much tension and you can be here. If your legs are okay, but maybe your back is sensitive, you can use blocks to kind of build a support for you. Again, these are sensations that you must be aware of in your body. So we're here for just a few breaths, really relaxing and letting go. Letting go of fear. Maybe letting go of sadness. Maybe letting go of all the stories that we've been told about ourselves, including the ones we've told ourselves. And instead replacing those stories and those narratives with God's words. So Isaiah 30:21 says, and this is a paraphrase, you are on a particular path. You're on a particular path. Maybe someone said to you, you need to be on this path. And they may have been wrong, they may have been right. You may have told yourself that. And as a result, you feel vulnerable. Just let that go and trust that God has you in the palm of his hand. 2 more full breaths here. On your next exhale, slowly use your hands, maybe on your feet, maybe on the mat, to bring yourself back to a tall seat. So if you're on a bed, this is probably where you will need to stop because the following exercises will not have enough stability for you if you are on a bed or a soft surface. So with both hands, use your hands to lift underneath those knees and just bring your legs back together. Swing your legs one side or the other, lean one side or the other on a hip, and come to a tabletop position. So tabletop is hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Feet are not flexed. And we're going to take just a few cat-cow here. So inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the head. Exhale, drop the tailbone, lift the belly, drop the head. Come back to tabletop. Inhale, exhale, stretch out your right leg, flex the foot, and just rock gently back and forth. You can kind of massage. You might want to move it one way, maybe turn your ankle one way and then the other way. Bend the knee, bring it back. Exhale, left leg stretches all the way out. Same thing as you exhale, allow yourself, your heel to push towards the opposite wall. So you're getting a good stretch. Maybe tuck the tailbone instead of lifting the tailbone. So you have a nice flat back. And then slowly make circles with your foot, with your ankle. One way and then the other way. Coming back to tabletop, knees under the hips. We're going to take our palms out just a little bit in front of you. Flex the feet. Inhale, center. Exhale, slowly lift the tailbone. So we're coming into downward facing dog. And if your heels are not touching the mat, that's okay. We're going to sort of walk them out, pedal them out, knit your belly button to your spine. Find a nice stretch in the low back here. Think about the spine and the activity of the spine and how vulnerable it is and that you want to protect it. So if this is too much, then you might be on your knees doing a child's pose or a puppy pose. You find what's best for you. So up here in down dog, bring your feet together, lift your right leg up, inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee, bring the right knee in towards your chest, drop the foot. If you can drop it between both hands, that's great, but use some help if you need to. The left knee comes down, untuck the toes of the left foot. Right hip goes back, left hip goes forward. Inhale, center. Exhale, push into the feet and rise. Palms come to the heart. Anjali Mudra. You can stay here, gaze in front of you, or inhale, center. Arms rise. Slight bend in the knee. Make sure your right knee is over your right ankle. Maybe look up between your hands, lifting. Inhale. Exhale, palms come together. Down to heart center. If you're wobbly, that's okay. We're going to take a small twist here. Inhale, center. Exhale, slowly begin bringing your left elbow over to rest on your right thigh. So it may look different. You might be here. You might be down here. You may be way twisted. So whatever feels comfortable for you today. And there is vulnerability here. This is balance and strength. Inhale. On your next exhale, slowly rise, bringing palms back to heart center. You can see I'm wobbly today. Inhale, exhale, bring palms to the mat. Slowly allow your right leg to straighten and flex the foot. Drop the head towards the leg. Bend that right knee, palms come to the outside of the right foot. Bring your right leg back and come back to tabletop. Maybe bring your hips toward your heels, just for a quick reprieve. Feel the work in your low back, in your legs. Coming back to tabletop, we have the other side. So we're going into downward facing dog. Palms are walked out just a little bit. Tuck the toes of both legs. Inhale, center. Exhale, push up. Slowly allowing your tailbone first to rise. And then just straighten out the legs if you can. So it's more important that your tailbone is going up towards the ceiling than for your legs to be straight or your feet to be flat on the floor. Some people like to walk their legs up, so do what's right for you. So inhale, left leg comes up. Bend that left knee. Bring it in towards your chest. When you're ready, drop the foot. Walk the foot between the hands. Drop your right knee. Untuck the foot of your right leg. Left knee is over the left ankle. Inhale, center. Right hips forward, left hip back. Push in to your feet as you rise. Palms are heart center. Belly button is knitted to spine. Shoulders are back and down. Stay here or inhale, arms high. Maybe look up between your arms. If it's too much, stay where you were. Finding strength here. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Inhale, palms come together, back to heart center. We're getting ready for our twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, slowly begin twisting at the waist and bring your right elbow over to the outside of your left leg. We're here for just a few breaths. Inhale, center. As you exhale, push into your feet. Come back to Anjali Mudra, heart center, shoulders back and down. Inhale, center. Bring both hands to either side of that left leg and slowly straighten out the left leg and flex the left foot. If your foot gets stuck on the mat, which mine does, I often just lift it up. Really get a nice stretch here. Some people like to go all the way back because it's less taxing on the knee. Or you might have put a cushion under your knee. Bend that left leg. Bring the left leg back to tabletop. Bring the big toes of your feet together. And spread your knees wide and slowly lower yourself down to child's pose. While in child's pose, please contemplate, I am a child of God. I am a child of God. Inhale, center. As you exhale, slowly press your palms into your mat to come back up to seated. So I'm on my ankles. That's not comfortable for everyone. For me, this is comfortable for a short period of time. So however you need to sit, just be there for a moment to feel the sensation. And just to appreciate the work that your body is doing and what you are doing for your body. So coming back to tabletop on all fours, we're going to have a little bit of a challenge. So in this challenge, I want you to contemplate as much and as best as you can Psalm 18, verse 32. And this again is a paraphrase. You are strong. So please say to yourself, I am strong. And if you need to come down to your knees at any point, you do that. We're not here for very long, but enough that it might be challenging. So inhale, center. Make sure your palms are under your shoulders. Inhale, center. Exhale, straighten out the right leg, tuck the toes of the right foot. And we're getting ready to go into plank. So inhale, center. Exhale, tuck the toes of the left foot. Come on up into your plank. I am strong. Draw the arms together. the legs towards one another. Get strong in your glutes. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. And one last time, you are strong. Inhale, center, drop that right knee, drop the left knee. Slowly come back into child's pose and feel that energy coursing through your body. You did it. See, you are awesome. And if you felt vulnerable there, you were not alone. It's not easy. Inhale, center, rise. Find your way to one hip or the other. Swing your legs around. Maybe you need blocks, maybe you don't. So we are going to come back on our back. We're going to do our twist, a very simple twist, as we begin to slow down our practice towards Shavasana. So as always, I like for you to roll on one hip and work your way down, and then find your way on your back. And maybe you need to use your feet to lift your hips, and then maybe your arms to lift your shoulders to find yourself in the center of the mat. Feet are hip distance apart. Bent knees. And be here for just a moment and relax before we do our twist. And again, become very aware of your spine and what's happening in the spine. And on your next exhale, allow both knees to gently fall towards the floor. So the bottom knee should be touching, or the leg, bottom part of the leg should be touching the floor. If you find you're still up here because that's too much of a twist, again, you can use a blanket or even a block to help support you there. So find what works for you. Take your time. There's no hurry. Maybe think about where you are vulnerable today. Maybe you know someone else who is experiencing a lot of vulnerability. Maybe it's a friend or a child who has a large presentation due. Maybe it's someone who's trying something they've never tried before. We've all been there, and even though we want to do it, we still are very vulnerable. And in times of vulnerability, how do you get through? What are some of the things that you are able to tell yourself that help you just cross that line and know that you are okay? You are unconditionally loved. And that is such a beautiful thought. And I hope it's with you all the time. So inhale, center, push, really activate that right leg, left leg's just hanging. Push into your right heel, bring both legs up to center. Be here for just a second. Maybe you need to move or wiggle along the mat. Make adjustments. We're going to the other side. Inhale, And exhale, allow both knees to slowly, slowly come down to the other side. Again, if you need a prop, a bolster, a blanket, anything, please, please, please take the time. This is your yoga. And this is your time to consider your own well-being. So today's class was very gentle yoga. And maybe you could do a deeper stretch, and maybe you could do a deeper twist. Maybe it's always available to you. But one of my yoga teachers, she was very famous for saying, just because you can do it does not mean you should. And I believe that there's a lot of wisdom there. It can be applied to not just a yoga practice, but our daily lives as well. And preparing to come out of this twist, inhale, center. Exhale, flex your left foot. Push into your left foot, activate your left thigh. Allow both knees and legs to float up to center. Walk both legs out towards the edge of the mat. Allow the knees to fall in and touch one another. Walk the feet in towards one another. Bring your right knee in towards the chest and the left knee in towards the chest. Interlace your fingers. You can flex your feet or allow your feet to dangle. Give yourself a little back massage. And as you're moving backwards and forwards, maybe become even more aware of the articulation of the spine and the sensations you are feeling. Maybe they're physical sensations only, but maybe they're also emotional sensations. Coming back to center, right foot comes to the mat, left foot comes to the mat. Right leg stretches out, flex the foot. Left leg stretches out, flex the foot. Right arm is overhead, left arm comes overhead. Reach opposite sides. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle fingers. Circulate wrists. And bring your arms by your side and just flop. You will have 2 minutes in Shavasana to consider and to further contemplate vulnerability. And maybe this contemplation will result in gratitude, in the fact that you are loved, you are strong, you are a child of God, you are beautiful, you are never alone, you are well known by God, you are fully known by God. So close your eyes and breathing in and out through the nose, become aware of vulnerability. And maybe in these 2 minutes, say prayers for yourself and others. And beginning now, you will have 2 minutes of silence. As you prepare to come out of Shavasana, wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms overhead. And stretch your legs in opposite directions, one at a time. Make circles with your wrists and ankles one way, and then the other way. And when you're ready, bend both knees, shift your hips over to one side, and one last time, roll over to your side, back into the fetal position, which is where we started our practice today. Rest your outer arm over your hip or in front, wherever is comfortable for you. And I would like to end our practice today in this position with your eyes closed and with the thought of God's love, unconditional love, and that you are beautiful, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are the light of the world, a city set on the hill. You are strong. You are beautiful. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this practice has been a time of just allowing yourself to feel whatever it was that you needed to feel today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy, peaceful, and free.